This is another episode of The Crew Table. Make sure you like and subscribe, and let us know if there's any future content that you would like to see.
AirCare One was born out of vision and necessity. When Augusta University Health and the Children's Hospital of Georgia lost air medical coverage in 2018, Dr. Philip Kuhl and Dr. Charlie Howell recognized the urgent need to restore these critical services. Their idea became Georgia's first hospital-based air ambulance in more than 20 years. Planning began in 2020. June 21st, 2021 saw the launch of AirCare One. Partnered with AU Health's innovative virtual care service, AirCare One became a safety net for rural hospitals, ready to transport patients when local care was exceeded. Equipped with IFR capability, liquid oxygen, long-range non-invasive ventilation, and high-flow nasal cannula support, the team quickly extended its reach to 5 states in the first year alone.
Every morning we come in, I have mechanics assigned to me. A mechanic will daily the aircraft. We do a daily airworthiness inspection.
And then we come around and also do our inspection, which is going to consist of fluids. Like for example, in here, we have a hydraulic system fluid, so we're going to verify that we have fluid in here. There's nothing leaking out there, that all of our hoses are properly connected. So we're going to check all of this area. Going to get everything latched up again.
We're looking at items that the pilot may not get a warning light for or a caution light for. You know, we're looking at PC rods, we're looking at main rotor blades, we're looking at hardware being corroded, we're looking at cotter pins and safety wire. A helicopter is a machine with a million parts trying to rip itself apart. That's what a helicopter is. Our number one responsibility, as always, safety is the first and only important aspect of this.
So this is one of our 2 engines, engine mount. But here we're going to check all of our hoses. This little guy here, this is where all the fuel goes into the engine. So we'll make sure that everything is properly tight and secured. There's nothing leaking out of it. There's no oil puddling down here. Mi nombre es Regis de Glans y vengo antes de volar aquí, yo volé en el estado de Arizona, volando sobre el Gran Cañón, y llevo 1 año ahora volando para el programa de Wellstar aquí en el área de Augusta, Georgia. In the morning we'll do a morning safety briefing, and we always communicate those things, and it's for the repetition of it. You know, repeat something enough, it's going to stick with you. So you say something that's out of the ordinary, something that smells, sounds, feels different, say something, we'll see what's going on, we can do a go around. So the communication is optimal. Let's say everybody's coming in fresh this morning. Yep. Fresh, right? So I got my sleep last night, I did my stretches and meditation, so I'm good to go. Everybody's got their proper flight gear, helmets and everything?
Yep.
Okay.
Welcome to Augusta, Georgia, one of the South's most storied cities. Founded in 1736 by James Oglethorpe along the Savannah River. Augusta quickly grew from a frontier trading post into a hub of commerce, politics, and industry. It even served as Georgia's state capital for a decade in the late 1700s. By the 19th century, the Augusta Canal powered booming textile mills, while the city's strategic railways played key roles during the Civil War. You can see Augusta's layered history in its architecture. The streets are lined with Greek Revival homes boasting features like tall, often fluted columns supporting large front entry porches. Front doors are often surrounded by side lights. Exteriors are usually evenly spaced with covered doorways. Ornate Victorian facades, often painted in vibrant colors, range from Gothic Revival to Queen Anne. Turrets, towers, and tall, narrow windows are main staples of these homes. But Augusta is best known worldwide for hosting the Masters Tournament. Founded in 1934 by golf legend Bobby Jones and financier Clifford Roberts, the tournament quickly grew into one of the sport's most prestigious events. Beyond the iconic green jacket, traditions here include simple but beloved foods. The famous pimento cheese and egg salad sandwiches, peach ice cream, and Georgia barbecue, sold at famously low prices to keep the experience accessible. At 598 Telfair Street stands another Augusta treasure, the Old Medical College, a National Historic Landmark and one of the oldest medical school buildings in the South. Built in 1835 in striking Greek Revival style, its Doric columns and stately dome once welcomed generations of physicians who helped shape American medicine. From its riverfront and historic homes to world-famous fairways and cultural landmarks, Augusta is a city where history, architecture, and tradition come together in unforgettable ways.
Welcome to Champions Retreat Golf Club. We're a nice course that has 27 holes, 3 nines, 1 9 designed by Honor Palmer, the other one by Gary Player, and the other one by Jack Nicklaus. We're the only course, I believe, in the world that has all 3 architects on one property. And we're also lucky enough to host the opening rounds of the Augusta National Women's Amateur before the tournament moves over to the Augusta National Golf Club.
I think that's what makes our program great, is how close our medical direction is to the program. Dr. Golden and Dr. Inamano are our 2 primary medical control physicians. Then we have some EMS fellows, but their relationship with our flight crews has been amazing. You know, we've adapted the program a lot over the last 4 years, and just being able for flight crews to go to them with new ideas and new procedures and actually be heard and considered, with a lot of them coming to practice within just a few months of being brought to their attentions.
Yeah, it's been good. Zach's been able to actually get our fellows involved in starting ground school, getting them as fly as core crew, and then also helping with expansion of protocols as well as chart review, and just get them in the full encompassing role of medical direction. So appreciate him allowing our fellows to be key parts of that.
Yeah, so I've been with the program since before he even got off the ground. Dr. Cool and I had worked previously together at another helicopter agency. And then when he saw a need for Augusta to have its own aircraft, how could I say no to being part of one of the first hospital-based helicopters in Georgia?
So I've been medical director since the program started. I was really honored to be asked to be the medical director by Dr. Philip Cool. It's been a great experience. I do have some previous pre-hospital experience. I was an advanced EMT as well as a registered nurse for 5 years before going to medical school. I still keep my RN license active. There's been some times where I've actually flown as core crew, sat in the nurse seat, which was good. That was with Zach and I. We went down and did a call. A lot of fun, and it's a good way to stay active with the crew, and then just kind of have a finger on the pulse and know how the program's running, make sure education's good, and just have a general sense of how the program's running.
Since then, my role's changed from being part clinician, part manager, to now executive director of air medical transport, which includes the aircraft here in Augusta, future aircraft in Atlanta, and 3 ground ambulances that support our children's hospital program. So when I came to Augusta, that was my first passion project. Whole blood's been one of the proudest moments. So I worked with the local blood center as well as our medical control team in the area to not only bring whole blood to the pre-hospital environment, but to be responsible with it. So developing a program for blood to be returned to the level 1 trauma center to be utilized instead of being wasted, just being a good steward of that resource. But we've seen great clinical results from it, as well as just, you know, being on the cutting edge of trauma care.
Honestly, this has always been my goal. I've been a nurse almost 14 years at this point. And this was always my goal. I love the medicine. I love what we do. Getting to take care of patients that are the sickest of the sick and being able to bring those resources to them and get them to them faster. We see obviously a good bit of trauma since we have the level 1 trauma center. We see a lot of cardiac patients, take care of a good many patients in DKA. Obviously in the wintertime, we have a lot of our CHF and COPD, our respiratory type patients. We also transport pediatrics. We have the ultrasound, so we can do fast exams, we can look at heart, lungs, OB exams. We fly in an EC Eurocopter 145 E-Light. We can transport, since we have a bigger aircraft, we can transport balloon pumps, impellas, ECMO. The farthest we've been was Alabama. We also frequently fly to as far as Jacksonville, Florida. We've flown up to Duke in North Carolina. We fly all across the state of Georgia, whether it's out west, north, or south.
We train like it's real because it will be real.
We're constantly talking about what we can do to make sure that we are the safest we can be, whether it's just from making sure everything's secure, that we are up to date on our patient care guidelines. So we want to be safe, not from the aviation standpoint, but also from our patient care standpoint.
We are here at AirCare One, Wellstar AirCare One, and we are going to feed the crew's lunch.
She feels she never gets called for a single.
I never get seen twice.
We're gonna do one. Over to the backboard over the electric fence. I was telling somebody about that the other day.
The kids are all right.
Gonna find out
That's
what
what I'm saying. They say you understand.
I think somebody stole the good pizza. I think so too. That's what I'm still going through all the doors.
Trucks, it's got a full tank of fuel. Your oxygen's at 1,600 for the main and 1,800 for the portable.
39 Star Road, 39 Star Road for Justin. This is a little more information.
Copy, man.
When someone dials 911, it's the start of a coordinated chain of life-saving actions. The call is answered by a trained emergency dispatcher, who quickly gathers critical details. What's happening? Where is it happening? How serious is it? Their job is to send out the closest available unit, often an advanced life support crew. ALS units are staffed with paramedics who bring advanced skills and equipment right to the scene. Things like cardiac monitoring, advanced airway management, and life-saving medications. Once they arrive, they stabilize the patient, but they also have to make another key decision. Do we need air transport?
Dispatch, can you contact AirCare and have them respond to the scene? Advise them we have one patient, approximately 22 years old, struck by a vehicle, unresponsive this time, bleeding from the head with trauma.
That decision isn't made lightly. Paramedics weigh several factors: the severity of the patient's condition, how far to the nearest hospital or trauma center, and what specialized resources might this patient need. If flight is the fastest path to survival, the team calls in the air ambulance. Within minutes, a helicopter and flight crew launch to intercept. On scene or at a designated landing zone, care is transferred seamlessly. Flight crews themselves operate with a high level of clinical autonomy. These teams, typically composed of a flight nurse and flight paramedic, are trained in advanced critical care. They can initiate or continue complex interventions, such as ventilator management, blood product administration, medication therapies, and numerous invasive skills. From the first ring of a 911 call to the blades of a helicopter lifting into the air, it's a chain of decisions and teamwork designed to give patients their best chance at life.
So here at Edgefield County EMS, we consider ourselves a link in the chain of survival as responding to emergencies in a timely fashion.
Could be anywhere from a newborn all the way up to a geriatric patient in their late 80s, 90s. So anywhere in between.
We're out somewhere in the rural parts of the county. We'll call for air care to come in and transport our patients. One, they can give a little more definitive care, blood products, also a shorter scene to ER time.
Or we can work on advanced airways. We have cardiac medications if somebody's having a cardiac problem. That's our main goal, is to provide the highest level of care that we can to the people that are here when they call 911.
We give this to somebody in the room with us. So right when we're getting ready to start pushing drugs down here, we say, read the checklist from the top. I'm gonna start setting up my video laryngoscope.
Air medical crews are trusted to perform some of the most advanced skills in emergency medicine, often in the most challenging environments. That level of autonomy doesn't happen by chance. It's built through intensive simulation training. Crews practice high-risk, low-frequency procedures in controlled scenarios that mirror real-life emergencies. Simulation builds confidence, sharpens decision-making, and ensures that when every second counts, the team can act with precision and trust in one another.
Got a good end title.
So autonomy to me means being able to make decisions confidently. For my providers, I really want them to feel like they're making good decisions and to be confident in those decisions.
Okay, I have, a little bit of everything. So this pocket is a pen, Sharpie, and a pen light, flashlight for being able to do walkarounds or working in the back of the aircraft. I usually carry extra medications if I need them, and this pocket is currently empty. I always have my chapstick and my Sharpie. I have my earplugs and our elevator key for our home hospital. I don't have anything in these. Got cell phones. I have to carry 2 pairs of trauma shears. Mostly these are ones that I can usually give away on scene to our EMS crews if they like them. We always have tape. I usually keep extra syringes and flushes in this pocket, and always have a brush because the hair gets tangled. Keep our narcotics in this pocket. I have my reference cards that I carry at all times, and a couple extra carabiners here. And then down here in this pocket, I carry a mini little survival kit just in case.
Yeah, the program's been growing ever since day one. We've always been looking to try and do stuff that no one else has done in the region. We started with IFR, grew into a neonatal transport, recently expanded the base, and then just recently did our first air medical ECMO transport by rotor wing with a lot of help from the ECMO Center here in Augusta, as well as our ECMO Center at Wellstar Kennestone.
Get one with me.
Okay.
I'm jonesing for a flight, so.
I was gonna say, you ain't gotta fight me.
Okay. Is that Becky?
Yeah, I think having a good base culture has made AirCare One what it is today. My very first base that I started, we were like a family and just always we're doing stuff off work, at work, outside of work. So when I came to One and we hired our initial crew, that was a big part of it. Not just their clinical skills, but as my boss would say, what's the 24-hour test? Is this someone you want to be with at 2 in the morning? Is this someone you want to sit around the kitchen table with? So taking those into effect, we've always hired crews that fit the family. I think we got a good group currently. We've got a great group coming to AirCare 2. We've supported each other's wins. We're supportive when we have losses. And, you know, everybody respects that level of culture that, you know, started from the day one with AirCare One.
I think that's probably my favorite thing about AirCare is the coworkers and your culture here it's amazing. Everybody here is family. You can come in with a question that you might feel like is a silly question, but no one here would ever make you feel that way. They're willing to teach you and to help you every step of the way, and that's one of the things I love about AirCare.
Well, we picked an airframe that was really well suited for the mission profile. So The time of transport in our case, the actual flight distance can be significant. Because of some of the unique capabilities here at Wellstar MCG, we needed the ability to fly patients for a long distance. So the range of the aircraft is certainly notable as compared to a single engine aircraft with less lift. So that was part of the consideration, was if you've got to take a neonatal transport team down to, South Georgia, we want to be able to do that without having a refueling component during flight. So the range of the aircraft and the lift of the aircraft. But more importantly, if you go to transport a complex patient, for example, we just did our first ECMO transport the other day.
My name is Kim Whitfield. I have been a nurse for 30 years, and I started with AirCare when it was founded in June of 2021. So I am an ENA faculty member, which means I'm a TNCC director and an ENPC director. So I hold most of my classes here at the base. I have earned the label of base mom. I'm not sure how that happened. I do the snack program, which I'm well known for. So I'm in charge of all the snacks for the base, keeping the base clean and organized. I also order the supplies and the stock room. I keep that organized. So I have taken on the role as the mother of the base.
And who's your favorite musician?
Taylor Swift.
I'm going in Sunday night to have him.
Oh, it's like a scheduled deal?
Yeah, I'm getting induced early.
This is classic window encroachment. Car seat boundaries are not a joke. True, but it is important to note that the passenger side window always has the best views. Oh no, it definitely does. Also, the dog, right, like nobody's claiming the trees. We're just talking about boundaries. We do need to talk about the escalation here.
She did.
You Devin?
Yeah.
Look at you now. Look at you now.
Actually, I think she said, ew, his text.
The teams work off of a nurse or a respiratory therapist model with access to a physician by phone whenever we need. We can go by ambulance, helicopter. We can even do fixed wing if necessary.
Okay, this is a transport call for an 18-month-old that came in with respiratory distress. They've been bagging him for an hour. They wanted us to come and...
So, of course, we basically are mobile ICU for the pediatric and neonatal populations. We can, anything that we can pretty much do in the ICU, the teams can do, of course, monitoring. We can monitor ventilation, non-invasive, invasive ventilation. The teams can intubate patients. Like I said, we can do needle decompressions, interosseous needles. We can do high frequency ventilation as well.
It's a separate level of care that is like so undervalued and underestimated, but if my child needed pediatric transport, I would want someone that understood the differences in medical requirements for their age to be able to deliver that care. And so I want to be that nurse that shows up for someone else's kid. Like I would want a nurse to show up for my kid. Lord, I can't say that without crying.
Aww. Most of us that are on the PICU and NICU teams are parents ourselves, and our children are the most important thing for us. And so it's never lost on us that when we go to pick up a baby from another hospital to bring them here to a higher level of care, that we are taking away from that mom and dad the most important thing in their world. And to be able to get those kids and get them here to a higher level of care and give them a chance at life. I mean, that's what we're doing. And one of the greatest things is when you get to do that and you get to see that and you get them to see them graduate from the NICU after they've been here months or even close to a year sometimes, and you get to see that family walk out with their child and you've helped make their dream come true. And then on top of that is when those little babies come back to see you years down the road. There's a few that come back every year on their birthday and bring cupcakes and celebrate because we're a part of their birth story, a part that they didn't want to happen, that family didn't want to happen, but it's relationships that last an entire lifetime. And it's the greatest job on planet Earth.
During my time here, we've tried to push the limits here at AirCare with our capabilities, and I've always had a draw, like I said, towards the most critical patients, and I thought it was a natural progression that we were able to transport patients that are receiving ECMO therapy. So one of my projects I've been working on over the last year or so here was making that a reality, and recently it became a reality, and it just shows that the dedication that we have as a team and a program, that no patient is too sick for us, and we'll do everything we can to make sure they get the definitive care they really need. I started my journey in the emergency room here at Wellstar MCG many years ago, and when I heard the program was starting, felt like it was a natural draw to where I wanted to be. I get to practice medicine with top quality clinicians that take their job seriously, and they have a dedication to excellence in care that we try to strive for with every call that we take.
While driving the golf cart, and I got ejected out the side. Ready?
So there is times where we just take med control calls. Aircom does a great job of rotating call between myself, Dr. Indamano, and Dr. Cool as well. They can call us on our phone directly, but the crews can actually get a hold of me on the Wave app, which is actually kind of a nice app on my phone. And anytime I have cellular connection or Wi-Fi, I'm able to talk to them on 800 megahertz frequency, which is very convenient. We'll respond to pre-hospital calls as well as support Georgia Bureau investigations and also local police agencies for tactical events. My protocols, I do encourage the crews to have recommendations for changing protocols. We do development quite a bit. With that said, though, I'd like to have the evidence to back it up before we make any kind of changes. But I am open to that, and I definitely want the crews to be the best around and to provide the best patient care possible.
Yeah, so we've always been pushing the limits of our clinical skills of our flight crews, but we also revisit the basics, and I was proud to be able to bring in an educator that could make sure that all those things are being done as we expand the program, and I was having to go hands off. Being able to have EMS fellows, a academic university behind the program has been great. Being able to get clinicians to do rotations within multiple different facilities within the university, being able to go to the med school and train, as well as having fellows be able to dedicate their time to the program to elevate the skills of a flight clinician.
So in PCG development, when we're trying to develop new protocols or update our current protocols, I like to start with the current scope of practice, the national scope of practice, and then look at, some of the current research and practice patterns around the country, and then look at our own protocols and try and find ways that we can update or improve our protocols. And then after that, trying to really dial down to what our local needs are and how we can address those needs.
Now, this is this represents or is inspired by the Augusta National or the Masters tournament. They do pimento cheese sandwiches. And we're also going to make a sweet treat here in just a few minutes as well.
Sweet. This looks like a really easy sandwich to make.
Really, really easy sandwich. Simple, straightforward, and it's weird because I feel like the lower quality of ingredients that you use, the better the sandwich actually tastes. So this is just cheap Walmart bread and pre-made pimento cheese, so absolutely nothing fancy here.
You can make your own pimento, can't you?
Yeah, you can make your own pimento. Not too difficult. I'd probably find a recipe online pretty easily. And another thing that you can do to take this over the top is throw it in a pan, crisp up both sides of your bread, and almost make like a pimento grilled cheese. Or if you topped a burger with this, that would be absolutely phenomenal as well.
That's a great idea. How thick do you want it?
That's pretty perfect, actually.
The important thing, how do you cut your sandwiches? Do you cut them like this or do you cut them diagonally? There's only one right answer.
I prefer just to cut diagonally.
Oh, thank God. I was hoping you would say that. Let's try it. Simple? Good? Okay, I actually really liked that.
You're really gonna like the grilled version.
I could see myself putting a slab of cream cheese on with this. A surprise layer on this one of cream cheese.
All right, Chase, so what do we got here?
Okay, so we are gonna make the sweet treat we talked about earlier. It's very simple. It is a sugar cookie with peach ice cream. So get you your favorite sugar cookies. And then a little tip, let your ice cream out so it gets a little soft. That way it's easy to scoop.
Who showed you that?
I can't remember because he's in timeout. Okay, let me cut the peach real quick. What do you think about this?
Money.
Your loved one is sitting there waiting for an ambulance or a helicopter to get there. Every second feels like an eternity. When you're having an emergency, you don't get the luxury of picking who comes to help you. We want all of our teams and crews to be the ones worthy enough to come and help.
I feel like the specialty care that we provide, being able to utilize ultrasound in flight is something that, you know, kind of drew me. It's a skill that not every facility or every aircraft program around here has. Things like the whole blood, being able to initiate arterial lines and kind of the more invasive things that we are trained in and we have the specialized equipment for.
So this is called our apical 4-chamber. Our emboli, you can assess like global ventricular function in this view, and then you can also compare the size of the right ventricle to the left ventricle right here. So you can kind of use it as like a rule of thirds.
It's about the capability. You know, as healthcare gets more complex, we have to be able to keep up with that complexity in terms of the care that we're delivering in flight. The needs of a healthcare system to be able to move patients between their own facilities or with high complexity of care, I think is only going to increase in the future. As healthcare becomes more technical and you know, the care that we're delivering is more complex, we have to be able to meet that need in critical care transport.
I think safety is something that we integrate intentionally and unintentionally at the same time. So for me, one big thing is, am I safe to fly for the day? It's something that we do in our morning checks. You know, am I mentally in a spot that I can take care of patients? But we do it as simple as walking around our helicopter before we take off, making sure that our helicopter is ready to go, making sure we have all of our equipment, and even through flight, kind of going through our continuous, you know, does everything feel right? Does it look right? Does it seem right? And it's an intentional thought, but it's also unintentional at the same time. Yeah, I think safety has been driven into us so much with this program because the goal is to provide the safest care that we can provide as well as the highest level of care.
Every emergency job comes with a risk, and we aren't naive to that. So we do everything we can to mitigate that risk.
How many you got? 2?
Yeah, just get one more.
Yeah, so Dr. Golden and I have been working pretty hard with our hospital system about adding a second aircraft to support the Atlanta market. And Dr. Golden has been instrumental in just looking at where patients are being moved within the Wellstar system. And it looks like we're going to be announcing AirCare 2 coming to Henry County here, hopefully this fall.
I've been helping out with starting with the medical direction and with interviews and the new candidates, and helping out with Zach with all the paperwork and expansion that we need to expand the program.
Well, we're expanding. You know, being part of the Wellstar system, I think, is going to be fantastic for the future of AirCare because we're already adding another base. We're already making plans for where we go after that, whether that's AirCare 3 and what AirCare 3 looks like. But I see a very bright future for multiple reasons. One is because I think we have created this program with the right mindset, and that is a patient-centered, high-quality, high-performance program that is going to continue to do great and wonderful things. Patient-centered decision-making and doing what's right by the patient is kind of our prime directive, right?
At its core, putting the patient's needs first is central to their mission. Principles like these foster a culture of excellence. In just a few short years, AirCare One has grown into more than a transport service. It's a program redefining air medicine in the region.
You know, I'm incredibly proud of this team. I'm incredibly proud of not only the care that they deliver, but the way that they go about their jobs. They take a great deal of pride in the importance of what they do. And from the leadership to all of the team members, a huge thank you for the wonderful care that you provide and for the lives that you impact and for being a difference maker on behalf of the health system and our patients.